Okay, there's just so many books this month. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be doing my March wrap up. Now this month I somehow managed to read 11 books. So the first book I read this month was given as a gift to me for Christmas. It's not actually a book I would probably ever pick up and read. I probably would have looked at it on the shelf and gone, that looks like smut, turned around and read the blurb and gone, yeah, no, I'm not going to read that. That book is Dragon's Lair by Chantel Ferdinando. It looks like smut. It looks like a book that's trying to be really sexy. They're just trying to roll on the, it's not even that nice of a chest, in all honesty. They're just trying to work with the naked guy in the biker jacket with the tattoo. And it doesn't work that well anyway. So basically this book is about Faye and her boyfriend who she's been with for yonks. Cheats on her with a friend and she decides to sleep with his older, sexier, tattooed up brother who she's had a crush on since she was 5. The brother is called Dex. Even the names are terrible. Dex. So she sleeps with him and she falls pregnant and she gets kicked out of home. Dex ends up finding out she's pregnant and is like, you're coming to live with me. Now Dex is the second in charge, I'm going to refer to him, of a bikie gang. So she's pregnant, living in a bikie gang, which is very stereotypical, the whole thing. It's just, I was cringing a lot in this book and I just, why am I reading this? Very weird. I'm not going to buy the rest of the series because quite frankly, I don't feel like I need to read it because it's probably going to be the same stuff over and over again. It's just dumb. I just read it because I felt obligated to, but I would not recommend reading it unless you're into this type of thing. So basically, because after reading Dragon's Lair, I needed to read some decent romance, so I picked up Wallbanger by Alice Clayton. I absolutely love this series. I adore it. I needed to read something funny and genuine and realistic and honest that was not smut. So Wallbanger is basically about Simon and Caroline, who are next door neighbours, and Simon has 3 girls that he regularly sleeps with whenever he's back in town, and their bed's back onto the same wall, so Caroline gets woken up by him banging on the wall during sex, and that's how they meet, and it's this great story, and they've got like 2 best friends who end up falling in love. It's so funny, it's a great read. If you haven't read it and you're looking for a really funny contemporary adult type novel, I would suggest Wallbanger because it's the greatest thing ever. It's hilarious, it's a decent love story, more importantly. I love it. The next book I read on my iPad because for some reason I wanted to apparently read a lot of bad smut this month. And I kind of regret that. I don't know why I read it. And it's Confession of a Tattooist by Lexi Timms. Actually, I might just get a picture and put it here of the book. I read that by her. Do I regret reading this book? Yeah, it was bad book life choice on my behalf. And I regret it quite a lot. It was not good. I don't know why I picked it up. I thought the guy was kind of attractive and it was a tattoo artist and I thought, well, why the hell not? And it was free. I don't remember the names of the characters, so I'm gonna sum it up very simply. Girl who has body issues, self-esteem issues, and family issues meets a hot tattooist guy, and he makes her feel beautiful and accept her for who she is and helps her stand up against her family. Helps her pursue her dream. I wasn't expecting anything great when I read it, and it wasn't anything great. The whole time I'm reading it, I'm just going, why? Why am I doing this? The characters were just so boring and just irritating. They had no redeeming qualities. The main character, I couldn't stand her. But there's more in the series, and who won't be reading that series? Well, the rest of the series, me. After I read that thing, I got Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. I saw it at Big W. I got a day early than it was meant to be released, and it was like 12 bucks, and I was so excited because I was willing to pay like 16 bucks at Target for this. Oh my god, this book was everything I wanted it to be and more. So basically, if you live under a rock and you've never ever heard of Cassandra Clare, she wrote the Mortal Instruments series, which has now been turned into a TV show called The Shadowhunters, and it also has a prequel series called The Infernal Devices, and then we have Lady Midnight, which is set after City of Heavenly Fire, which is the last book in the Mortal Instruments series, and it takes place 5 years after the events of that last book. We follow a family that we met in City of Heavenly Fire, and they're all grown up now, and it's in the Los Angeles Institute, and we follow Emma Carstairs and Julian Blackthorne and the rest of the Blackthorne kids. Emma Carstairs is the main character. She's freaking amazing. She's my favourite female lead in a Cassandra Clare novel. Like, she is everything I wanted a freaking female shadow hunter lead to be. She is so badass. She's so kick-ass. Yeah, she's amazing. I loved it. She was just so sarcastic. This book is about her trying to find out the real reason why her parents were killed. I didn't like Julian as much as I thought I was going to. I was fully prepared to fall in love with this male character lead because I have in every other Cassandra Clare novel. And I didn't. I feel for him, but there's something not clicking with me. I guess because he's not Will Herondale. Really, no one can compare to Will Herondale. The ending, I did not expect what happened to happen in this book, and I was constantly on my toes, I was constantly engaged, and I loved every second of this book. And I want the rest now, please. It's a little bit bigger than the other books, and I'm a little bit disappointed by that. Okay, so the next two books I read are by Gail Foreman, and that is Just One Day and Just One Year. So this is basically about, what is her name? I'm like, I read too many books that I don't. Allison, that's her name. About Allison, her and her best friend Mel go to Europe on this teen tours around Europe, and they're basically in, this is about, I don't remember, they're somewhere and they go about to see a Shakespeare play and they decide to ditch it and they go to a different Shakespeare play. She meets this guy, I call him William, and they run into one another when they're on the train to London. Basically, she really wanted to go to Paris, but she couldn't. William basically says to Allison, I will take you to Paris for the day. So she decides to go with him. Let's go to Paris with a stranger. Not a good idea, because he could rob you or rape you or kill you, leave you stranded in Paris, basically spend the day in Paris. And I actually thought the whole book was gonna be about the one day. No, the rest of the book is like a year later and her dealing with the fact that he basically leaves her in Paris. I was like confused because it was like part one, just one day, and then part two, just 1 year, and I was like, wait, do you mean to tell me I purchased just 1 year and I've already got it? But it's okay, because this is William's point of view from what happens when he leaves her to just a year later and everything that happened. Basically tried to track one another down, but they fuck it up big time. They don't know enough details about one another, but they keep going to the same places at the same time and missing one another. It just blew my mind. I was just like, especially when I was reading this and I already knew her story, and then I found out his, and I was just like, oh my god, how can two people screw it up so badly? I did find it quite interesting that from one day they were both that, I want to say, obsessed with one another. They spent an entire year of their lives trying to find the other person. Allison was a little bit annoying, and I feel like she needed to just take charge of her life a little bit more and not let some guy completely just screw with her head so badly. This is coming from someone who lets guys screw with her head very badly. Maybe I can just relate to that. Bad relationships right there. I did like it. If you read If I Stay and Where She Went by Gail Foreman, I recommend reading it. I enjoyed it for what it was. If you've read this series, you know that there is a novella called Just One Night, which takes place literally soon as Just One Year finishes. Like, it's like straight after they find one another. So she actually finds him and sees him, and you get this like really nice closure to the whole series, because like what you got in those books was good, but you were like, but what's gonna happen now? They live in two different countries, and then you find out, and it was really sweet and it was lovely and amazing. And I really, really liked it. I thought it was fantastic. It was exactly what you didn't know you needed for this book. The last 4 books I read are in a series, which is the Cocktail series, oopsie, by Alice Clayton. So I read the next 4 books that came after Wallbanger, which was Rusty Nailed, which continues Simon and Caroline's story. Screwdrivered, which follows Simon's friend Vivian and then her love interest Clark. We go and follow Clark's cousin, who we meet in Screwdrivered very briefly, Chloe, and her love interest Lucas. And then we go back to our last call, which goes back to Simon and Caroline. I just love these books. I'm not going to talk about them because I've raved about them a gazillion times in so many videos wherever I mention them, but they're just amazing. Not so much Screwdrivered. I don't like Vivian very much, but the other books were amazing, and it just continues on this series so fantastically. And if you've read Wallbanger, you haven't read the others, you need to read these. Seriously, they're amazing. Just read them. They're fantastic. It's just... they're a great contemporary series. I love it. So they are the 11 books that I read this month in March. If you have read any of these books, comment down below and let me know what you think of them. Did anybody else read 11 books like me this month? Because that's insane. And I can guarantee you I will not be reading this many books in April. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!